All right, here we are, lesson 25, dividing by a unit fraction. So we are now moving on to division with fractions. All right, so our goal is I will be able to divide a whole number by a unit fraction. Whoopee! All right, so before we start, I want to make sure that those of you who might have an idea of what division with fractions looks like, I don't want any tricks. All right, maybe once we understand towards the end of this, we can look at tricks. But what I need you to understand is why. Why does it work when we're dividing fractions? What does it mean? How can we see this in real life? Okay, so here we go. We're going to start out with Christina. She buys 2 pounds of pecans. Pecans are a type of nut, if you didn't know. So she buys 2 pounds of these. We're going to start out super simple, looking at what division is, and then going into division with fractions. So if Christina puts 2 pounds in each of her bags, how many bags can she make? So our division sentence is going to look like 2, because she starts out with 2, and each bag gets 2 in it. So how many bags can she make? She can only make 1. All right, she started out with 2 pounds of pecans. She wanted to put 2 pounds in each of them, so she can only make 1 bag. Now for B, we're going to change it a little bit. She still buys 2 pounds of pecans, but she wants to put only 1 in each bag. All right, so our division sentence is now 2, that's what she starts out with, divided by 1, right? So she only wants to put 1 pound in each of the bags. Right, so 2 divided by 1 is 2. So she can actually make more bags because she's putting less in each of the bags. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. So we're going to move that thinking, we're going to use the same thinking into this next problem. If she puts 1/2 pound in each bag, how many bags is she going to make? So following our pattern, right, she starts out with 2 pounds. And she's going to divide it by 1/2. There's our fraction. All right. Now, our question is, will this answer be more or less than 2, right? We started with 2 pounds. Is it going to be more or less than 2? Well, looking at what we did here, right, we went from 1 to 2, right? So we're kind of getting bigger. Let's see if we get bigger on this one. I have a tape diagram here on this next slide. Let's go ahead and look at this. Now, remember, our whole goes at the top. Our whole, we know she has 2 pounds. All right. Now each one of these is showing 1 pound. This is 1 pound, and this is 1 pound. All right. But she wants to only put 1/2 in each bag. So I'm going to divide each of these into halves. Right. So I can show my halves. There's halves for the first one, and here's for the second pound. All right. Now if I look, I can count how many bags she can make. This is 1 bag. This is 2 bags. This is 3 bags. And this is 4 bags. All right, so let's go back to our division problem. So 2 divided by 1/2 is 4. She can make now 4 bags with 1/2 pound in each bag. All right, so we're getting bigger, which is maybe a little counterintuitive. Okay, so our answer was 4. Now, for any division problem that we do, we know that we can check it with multiplication, right? We just switch everything, okay? So remember, when we check a division problem, we start with our quotient, right? With our answer. So our answer was 4, all right? Remember, we're multiplying. What was our divisor? Let's look back. We're dividing by 1/2. So if I multiply 4 times 1/2, I should end up with 2, right? That was my whole. A 2. There we go. So 4 times 1/2. Well, 4 times 1 is 4. All right, and our denominator is 2. And wait, what? 2 can go into 4 twice. So our answer is 2. Is that what we started with here? Yes, it is. So we are right. All right, so 2 divided by 1/2 is 4. All right, let's go to our next part. So Christina, she still buys 2 pounds of pecans. All right, but now she wants to put 1/3 pound in each bag. And our question is, how many bags can she make? So here's our division sentence. She still starts with 2, and we're dividing by 1/3. All right, once again, we're going to look at our tape diagram here. All right, so our whole is 2. Start out starts out with 2 pounds of pecans. All right, so this is 1 pound, this is 1 pound. We need to divide each of those into thirds. All right, just like last time we divided it into halves, now we're going to divide them into thirds. All right, so there's the first pound, and here's the second pound. Now we can easily see how many bags she can make. Here's 1 bag, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So she can make 6 bags. All right, let's check our work just to make sure. So our quotient multiplied by 1/3, and it should give us 2. All right, so 6 times 1 is 6 over 3. That's a bad 6. There we go. Now it looks like a B. Anyway, 3 can go into 6 twice, and there we go. That's all right. So go ahead. This is gonna be your quiz question. Okay. So Christina still has 2 pounds of pecans. She still bought 2 pounds. All right. Now she wants to put a 1/4 in each bag. All right. So you can go ahead and use your tape diagram to help you solve. Check it before you put your answer in, because you can definitely know what your answer is before, and you don't even have to guess. All right, so hopefully by now you're noticing a pattern. All right, so here we go. Are the numbers getting bigger or are they getting smaller? Right, so remember we started with 2 divided by 2, we got 1. 2 divided by 1, we got 2. 2 divided by 1/2, we got 4. 2 divided by 1/3, we got 6. Is it going up or down? It's going up, right? The numbers are getting bigger. So why? Why is it becoming larger as you're dividing into smaller units? Well, because if you think about all of these different bags you're making, if you put less in each bag, you get to make more bags, all right? And that's the essence of the division that we're looking at right now, okay? So, problem 2. This is a different way of looking at division. If you remember when we first looked at division, this may have even been in 4th grade, but there's 2 different ways to look at division, right? How many, how many in each bag, or how much is in each bag, right? Or so we're looking at 2 different ways. How many bags we have, sorry, I should have started with that, or how much is in each bag, all right? So we just looked at how many bags, but now we're going to look at how many in each bag. So Cece buys 2 pounds of pecans. All right, so we're starting with 2 pounds. We're going to look at it with this question. If that 2 pounds is half the number she needs to make pecan pies, how many pounds will she need? So now we're trying to find the whole. All right, before we already knew what the whole was. But now we're trying to find the whole because it's saying if 2 is only half the number she needs to make pecans, how many pounds will she need to make? So think about this. 2 is half of what number? All right, so we can look at our tape diagram here. So 2, that's what she has right now. But that's only half of what she needs. Okay, so then if I fill this in, 2 here, the other half of what she needs, how many will she make? Well, she'll make 4. All right, so what does our division sentence look like? Well, it still looks the same, right? 2 is what she has, but that's only half of what she needs, right? So she'll need 4 pounds. Okay, this is just a different way to look at division. Is it still the same? Yes, because 2 divided by 1/2 is not ever going to change. It's just the way that we look at it. All right, so your tape diagram definitely can help you, especially when we look at word problems or situations. Okay, so now if we look at this, if this is, so she still has 2 pounds of pecans, but she now only has 1/3 of what she needs. Okay, so once again, you can look at it in a tape diagram type of situation, all right, where we don't know what the whole is, but we do know that she only has 1/3 of what she needs, right? And right now, she only has 2. So if this is 1/3, 2/3 would be 2 more, and 3/3 would be 2 more, and if I figure out what all of that is together, it would be 6. All right, so our division sentence would look like 2 divided by 1/3 is 1/6. So 1/6. Sorry, it's not 1/6, it's 6. All right, so she has she needs 6 pounds altogether. Division sentence stays the same. All right, it's just the words that are a little bit different. All right, here's our last one. Enzo. Enzo wants to cut a 1/4 foot length from a board that is 5 feet long. So he wants to figure out how many boards can he cut. I don't know why he wants to cut lengths from a board. Maybe he wants to build something, okay? So he needs to figure out how many boards he can cut from that 5 feet. All right, so what is the length of the board he has to cut? He has to cut from 5 feet. All right, that's what he has. That's his hole. All right, how can we find the number of boards? 1/4 of a foot long. Okay, so here's our tape diagram. So he has 5 feet. I divided each one into 5, or I've divided the whole thing into 5 different parts, right? Because into feet. So 1/4. So what he's going to do, and I'm not going to do this for all of them, is, right, you're going to cut them into fourths. There's 1, 2, and 3, 4. All right, so 4 from this foot, 4 here, 4 here, 4 here, 4 here. All right, before we, 4, there's a lot of 4s. Before we solve, let's go ahead and write our division sentence. All right, so it's going to be 5 divided by 1/4. All right, because he's trying to figure out how many boards he can cut out of 5, and he's cutting them at a length of 1/4. Okay, so how many 1/4 feet are in 1 foot? Look at this. There are 4. How about in 5 feet? So we're going to count by 4s. 4, 8, all the way. 4, and you can do it repeated addition, or you could do it multiplication. 4 times 5 is 20. So he'll end up with 20 boards. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. Go ahead, answer your quiz questions. If you need help, ask me in class.